Greetings everyone, welcome to video number 7 in the project management series presented by Process Geekoid. So today we will be going over the review of the PMBOK processes table from last time. Keep in mind I'm going off of PMBOK 5 as this reflects my personal journey on the PMP. And also we are going over specifically today the monitor and control project work process. Keep in mind that this process occurs at the intersection of the integration knowledge area and the controlling process group. As always, please subscribe, like, and comment, and leave any questions. I would be happy to answer them for you. So let's move forward. So, during the execution of the project work, project managers are also expected to be proactively monitoring and controlling the project to ensure work is aligned within the boundaries of scope, schedule, cost, risk, and resources as outlined in the project management plan. Remember, the project management plan is a binder or shell of all subsidiary plans and baselines for defining, preparing, coordinating subsidiary plans and integrating them together. So, what we will see here is we are in the monitoring and controlling. As PMs, we are proactively looking and seeing how the project is progressing. Is it in the red? Is it in the green? Are we doing well? Are we behind schedule, ahead of schedule? Are we bleeding the money, or are we below the budget? Are we going to make our sponsors happy? If not, how can we do that? What can we do to improve it? Are we delivering our project on time? Are we behind schedule, ahead of schedule? How can we improve? So constantly, proactively, we are supposed to be looking at the data and trying to effectively manage the project. That is the essence of monitor and control project work. So, during the execution of the project work, project managers are expected to be proactively monitoring and controlling the project to ensure work is aligned within boundaries of scope, schedule, cost, risk, and resources as outlined in the project management plan. And we can see that right here as one of the inputs. And remember, the plan has a binder of shell of all subsidiary plans and baselines. Remember, baseline is basically the approved version of the plan for a cost or the budget, schedule, scope, risk, and resource baselines. We have to stick to those throughout the project. That's why it's called a baseline. And we are going to be using that within the plan to coordinate and integrate the project. So we are taking in the project management plan, which is coming from the developed project management plan process. We're also taking in schedule forecasts, basically predicting that we will take X number of days to complete the project. It's a forecast, not an actual number. Cost forecast, similarly, how much money would we have burned by a specific time is a cost forecast, the actual cost incurred. Validated changes. So validated changes is another input, and that is coming from perform integrated change control process. And when it comes to the forecast, just as a reminder, we are forecasting. So the schedule forecast is to explain how long we think it will take to complete the work. Cost forecast is what the budget is projected to be at that time. How much would we have burned? That is what we're doing, and how much is left to burn. And validated changes comes from perform integrated change control process, which we will discuss further in the next video. Next input is work performance information. So this is taking in the work performance data, the raw data, collected from various controlling processes, analyzed in context, and integrated based on relationships across areas. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, this data that we're talking about is coming from all other processes in the monitor and control area, and it's 9 out of 11 process groups within the monitor and controlling process group. So we are going to get these change requests from control quality, control cost, control schedule, and so on and so forth. We will be getting these data as how we are doing as inputs. So that is going to be analyzed in context from there, and we're going to be getting the information from those processes as an input here, and we're going to generate a report. As you can see, we have information. We're going to give a report at the end of this. That's why we are reporting the progress to meet the performance objectives defined in the project management plan. And the other input here is EEFs, or enterprise environmental factors. These are factors that are not in the control of the project team that influence, constrain, or direct a project. So this could be regulations, this could be company culture, etc. So the key benefit of this process is that it allows stakeholders to understand the current state of the project, the steps taken, and budget, schedule, and scope forecasts. Keep in mind, forecast is what we expect might happen. It's not an actual number. Next, we are going to go over the tools here. So the expert judgment is basically existing processes, technical details from previous project, internal historical records, industry standards, or internal subject matter expert resource who assists the PM in finalizing the PM plan, and during the monitoring control project work, these SMEs are essential in monitoring the project process, project progression. So as a result, we are going to use their help as a tool to make sure that we are going in the right direction. Next tool is analytical techniques. These can come in a various types of techniques, such as regression analysis, grouping methods, causal analysis, root cause analysis, also known as Ishikawa diagram, forecasting methods, failure mode and effect analysis, which basically means we're taking each risk and we're prioritizing them in order of priority and evaluating all potential failures and impacts based on those risks. Fault tree analysis is where we have gate symbols that describe the relationship between input and output events for each risk. So here we have Boolean logic such as AND or OR symbols, and tells us which way we're going based on a risk. The other pieces that we have for tools are going to be trend analysis, which is basically a view of data over time, variance analysis, which is comparing the actual versus the baseline. So the planned results in the baseline versus the actual results that we have incurred. Reserve analysis is where we're taking in the contingency reserves, and typically a company will give you 10 to 15% above the cost estimate by the program manager or above. So we need to reserve money and make sure that we are not bleeding too much money so we don't tap into the reserves. The last resort is to touch the contingency reserve since we have accepted the risk. Keep in mind, the contingency reserve is for known risks, whereas management reserves are outside of the cost baseline and are for unknown risks. That is outside of the baseline. Keep that in mind. The other piece we have is earned value management as a technique. Here we are looking at the value of the work completed in dollars and the value of work in dollars completed to date. So here we're combining scope, schedule, and cost measurements to assess project performance and progress. So this could be depicted in a Gantt chart to show the duration that we have spent already. We could have cost measurements to look at cost performance index, schedule performance index, schedule variance, cost variance, to complete performance index, TCPI, etc. These are just metrics to make sure that we are going in the right path. Other tool or techniques that we have are project management information systems. These are the systems used to gather, integrate all appropriate information from project management processes to determine the project status. Disperse this information to appropriate stakeholders. And an example of a PMIS system is a database, a SharePoint site. And remember that this PMIS, Project Management Information System, is part of an EEF. We don't have any control over the tool that we use. we are using the tools based on what the organization has provided us. Every organization is different. Some places we might use MS Project, some places might use a SharePoint site, or a project management tool that is inbuilt. For example, Artemis is a tool used in major companies to keep track of project management software updates in a project, etc. Or we can use Jira used in agile projects. So those are some options for PMIS. And an output from all of this is going to be change requests. Well, we are monitoring and controlling, so it stands to reason that during the process of the project that we are conducting, we will have change requests, like changes to the budget, changes to the schedule, risk or resource baselines. But as PMs, we are to raise a change request and give them to the change control board, which consists of the sponsor and other major stakeholders for review. These changes go to the perform integrated change control process that is going to be either approved or rejected. So the changes that are approved will move forward, and changes that are going to be rejected will be moved somewhere else, and we'll talk about that in the next video. But to suffice to say here, change requests are essential to make sure that they are documented and looked at by everyone concerned by the project or other major stakeholders. And the other output here is work performance reports, physical electronic representation of work performance information compiled in project documents intended to generate decisions, actions, or awareness. The next output is project management plan updates, and these are updating the major plans: scope plan, cost plan, schedule management plan, risk management plan, etc. And project document updates are to schedule cost forecasts, work performance reports, issue logs, risk logs. Anything that is not a plan is a update, or project document, sorry. So anything that does not have a baseline or a plan tied to it is going to be a document supporting the plan. So we're going to be updating those as well. And the key benefit of this process is that it allows stakeholders to understand the current state of the project, the steps taken, and budget, schedule, and scope forecasts, and gives an overall view of how we're doing. So that concludes this video. Please subscribe, like, and comment, and please leave any questions. I'll be happy to guide you, and look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you.